Hello guys, welcome back to my new video. So in this video I'll be explaining you about all the process of mitigation, like how to create a mitigation control ID and why it is used and how we can assign it to the users. So let's start. So first of all, why do you need mitigation? Why mitigation is required? So whenever you cannot remediate a risk, which means whenever you cannot separate risk from any user, like he's accessing any 2T codes which is a risk, and but still as per the organization rules that he needs both the access. So at this time, you need to add a mitigation control. Okay, we will give the access, but we will set up a control for that. So every time, every month or every 1 week, we can set up the frequency, like how often he uses that particular T code. Based on that, we can set up the frequency. So, and we can define a mitigation control ID. And in that control ID, what we will mention is we will mention a definition where okay, let's this user uses this both the T codes, but in backend we will control it by seeing the reports whether he has done any fraud or not, like that. So basically in mitigation there are two types of mitigation controls, like one is preventive controls and one is detective controls. So preventive control means before happening, before the risk is going to happen, you are controlling it. Like for example, the possible good role design based on the task based roles, and through background checks, whether whenever you are creating any user or anything, whether the user is trustworthy or not. Mm, and basically normal SOD, these preventive controls is also called, we can also tell it as SOD, where we are restricting each end user to his own actions or task what he needs, only we are giving those accesses. So this is preventive controls. Detective control means, which I told you, like user is already using it, we are controlling it, or we are looking into that those reports where he is using both the T codes by comparing like what kind of thing they are doing using those T codes. We can schedule the reports and we can check it every week or every 2 weeks based on the frequency what it is mentioned in the mitigation control ID. And who will be the mitigation control ID? It's not you, basically you will just set up it. Mitigation controller and mitigation monitor will be different. Mitigation control owner will be different, approver will be different, and monitor will be different. Okay, and owner will be different. Owner is nothing but who sets up all the things. Basically, that will be the security person itself. And mitigation monitor is someone who monitors that control. And mitigation approver means someone who approves that control, who approves that control IDs. Okay, so for before starting, we have few prerequisites which we need to create. Like first and foremost thing, we need to set up two users. One is um, mitigation monitor and mitigation approver. These two IDs we have to create. So in SU01, I am going to create a mitigation monitor first. It's already created, I think. Let me check if I can use that the same thing or not. Okay, this is a monitor. These are the rules which needs to be given to the monitor. And so let me keep this in Notepad. So this is the approver. Okay. So for approver, we have given this role, mitigation control approver. What he can do, he can create a mitigation control, approve, assign alerts and performance. What mitigation monitor can do is ability to assign mitigation control to a risk or perform risk analysis. So these two are his functions, mitigation monitor functions. Okay, so once you create these IDs, these are normal dialog users only. Okay, these are dialog users only, and you have to assign all these roles. So once these two IDs are created, the next step is you have to go for NWBC, and in setup we have something called access owners. Okay, and here access owners, and here access control owners. You have to click on that. So let me see whether those two are available here or not. Okay, somehow they are not available here. Let me add them here. So whatever IDs you create here, you are going to assign it in access control owners. You just click on create, and so he is your mitigation monitor. Owner already exist. Okay, let me see this. Okay, I think this is the one. Monitor mitigation one. So that ID is assigned here or not. So what you have to do, you have to go give the user ID here from which you have created mitigation monitor, and once you give, you have to scroll down, and here since he is a monitor, you have to select this checkbox and click on save, and then it will be created. Okay. In the same way, you have to create it, do it for approver also. This is our approver, and here you have to give the ID. Here you have to give the ID mitigation approver, and you should scroll down and you have to give, click on this checkbox mitigation approver. Okay, once this is created, the next step is you have to create a root organization. Okay, so basically, what is this root organization means? Like in your organization, think like you are working in one company, that is your root organization, and under that, you can create a hierarchy also, like finance, and under finance, you can create something called general accounting, or you can create after the in your if your root organization is some company name, and under that you can create security, and under that you can create administrators. So under administrators you can create these mitigation control IDs like that. Okay, so let me start. For that, you need to go for SPRO, and here SAP reference IMG, and governance, risk and compliance, shared master data settings, and here you have create root organization hierarchy. Okay, you need to create root organization, ensure that organization weave you create is already maintained in customizing activity. Okay, So let me see this. Root organization will be, so you get a message called root created successfully. And now what you can do, you have to go for your uh, NWBC, and there we have an option called organizations. Maintain the company's organization structure for compliance and risk management with related assignments. So once you click on organization, so this is your organization called corporation. Okay. And here under this organization, this can be either finance, while creating you can give it as finance or anything whatever you want, or if you want to add anything under this you can also add like this, any new organization under your parent or child organization, like finance or anything like that. As of now I am giving it only as organization. Okay, so let me open this. Let me click on this first, the root organization, and open that. And here you can see this is your corporation, this is your root organization, and here we have to assign the description, anything like industries or anything like that. Okay, you can give the country and the state also if needed. So why do you need this? Because if your organization has a different, if your organization is available in many different countries, at that time you can create your company name underscore India and your company name underscore USA, and for that you can create only for that particular organization you can create your mitigation IDs. So because of that you need root organization. Okay, so let's search for India, and this is okay. Uh, if you want to give, you can give state also. And before state, you have users. This is not needed. The first thing is you have to add the owners here, which you have given in access control owners. Without adding there, if you come and check here, you'll not get those names here. Okay. So let me search for them. So this is the one you created, approver mitigation, and I'll click on add row. So you need to click on save. So organization updated successfully. So if you have any specific users for a separate organization, you can click. Now for the whole organization, these two are the mitigation control and owners. If you have separate for your specific team like that, you can go and add them here also in your organization. Okay. like which I told for finance, for any other different one. You can go and add them here also. If you have different mitigation controls and owners, you can add them here also. So let me close this, and then you have to go for the same in setup. You have to go for mitigation controls, and in mitigation controls, you can click on create. Okay, you can click on create. Okay, see, this is your mitigation control ID. It should be unique. These all these mitigation control IDs should be unique. Okay, so think like the naming convention can be like your org name or something like that. Think it as C and underscore, or if you don't need underscore, let it be, and for which you are creating FI, and you can create it like this: mitigation FI. Okay, you can create something like this, and the name will be uh, finance, or you can give it as general accounting, something like that. And in the description, this is the main part. Even though it's not mandatory, what you have to do here is you have to define like what should be the control over here. Like you have to talk with your mitigation controls or approvers, and based on their discussion, they will tell you what should be mentioned here, like what the mitigation monitor should execute. Either it's a report or something, anything like that. Think like, for example, I'll show you like. User is having access to BP, which is used to create master records for vendor master maintenance, anything, business partners. Okay, and he's also having access to ME21N or ME22N. Okay, ME22N. These two are basically a risk. Why? Because a user can create his own user can create vendor master record in any vendor master record, and he can create purchase orders for the same. But still, the user needs access to BP and ME21 and ME22N. But the risk here is he should not create a purchase order for the same vendor which he created. It will be a fraud, right? So he might create a fake vendor, and he might just create a purchase order for the same vendor where the vendor doesn't even exist. So it will be a risk, high level risk. So because of that, what we can do is there are two tables for this. So which is that table for a vendor master, LFA1, and this is the table which gives vendor master data, and the other table is EKKO. We also have CD POS and CD HDR also, which gives our change documents. But in these two tables, basically in EKKO, we get purchase order details. So when you compare these two tables, and if the like, let me show you NSE 16. Let me open. Okay, here you'll get the supplier and the name like this. See, this is the supplier, this is the name. You get these details here. And in EKKO table, you get the purchasing company code and document and created on. Okay, this is the purchasing document number created on, created by. Okay, if the same person who has created that vendor and if the same person who has created the purchase document for that particular vendor, if you join these two tables, at that time you'll be knowing that this is there is a risk that is causing in the organization. So because of that, what you can do every time using SQVI table, they can join these two tables. And for what monitor should do here is, so what you can do, join SQ using SQVI table, using SQVI join table EKKO and LFA1 and schedule a report. So using this table, what a person can get to know is, no user, whenever he executes this table, he will get the same purchase order is created for the same vendor and by the same person who created that vendor itself. Okay, using this table, he can get to know this information. And here the organization should be selected. So the organization can be, okay, and this is the process, finance, and the sub process you can give it as AP or AR, whichever you want, but that's not mandatory. And here you have to go for access risk. Then that's the next step. Here you have to add for which risk ID you are going to create. You are creating this mitigation control ID. So you can check P008 maintain fictitious vendor and initiate purchase to the vendor. You can see the description, right? And initiate the purchase to the vendor. So, and you can go for owners tab. Here you can add the owners. Who are they? Like you have added them in your access control owners, right? You can add them. Okay, why you are getting only these two owners? That's because under the root organization you have given only these two owners. Because of that, you are getting only these two owners, even though there are more. So he is the mitigation approver, and he is your mitigation monitor. That you can specify here. So he is your approver and he is your monitor. Okay, and then reports tab. So in this reports tab, what basically you can do is you can document any specific action in a particular system, for that particular mitigation control, and each action is links to the connector. Basically it gets linked to the connector, and you can set up the frequency. And by linking this target connector, you can define the mitigation control for the specific system. Okay, these two reports tab and attachment tabs are not mandatory. You can leave it as it is. And if you have any more information on this particular control, you can add them here. Okay. So once this is done, you can click on save. So data has been saved. So now what you can do is, it's not like one more thing I wanted to tell you, like I added one risk, right, which is P008. It's not like you have to add only one risk under here. You can add multiple risks also. Okay. And in the description, you can also maintain please check like what manager needs to check whenever they are creating the vendor master record. That kind of description also you can give. Okay. So let me close this, leave the page. Now what I am going to create, I am going to create a role in, I'm not sure whether it's already created or not. Let me check. I think this is the role which I created. Let me check. Okay. BP, ME21 and ME22. In the user is HP Praveen. Okay. Okay, let me take this user ID, and first let me show you the risk analysis for this user ID, and then later I'll add it for that particular user ID. Okay. Mm, access management. This is the user level risk. I'm going to check user level risk analysis. So here I'm going to select the system. I don't need user group, I don't need custom group, and rule set will be global, and you can click on run in foreground. Okay, see, this is basically his risk, which is P008, for which I have created a control. So how you can mitigate this risk, like where you have to add the mitigation control ID. You can see this option, right? There are three ways in the access request management, which I'll be doing it later. In that also I'll show you later, like whenever you raise a request to any user, and if the risk if the user is having any risk or not, if the user is having any risk, at that time what happens is, it goes to the another level mitigation controller. He either have to remediate or mitigate the risk. There also he can add the mitigation control ID if it is available, or else you can add it here also, or else there is another way also that I'll show you now. So here you have to click on this mitigate risk, and for this you can see here, right, whenever you give, you just click on mitigate risk. If the mitigation is already available, it directly fetches that control ID for the particular risk. Since I gave a P008, it directly fetches this mitigation control. This is the control ID, and this is the monitor. Okay, this is valid from 5/8/6/2025 to 5/12/2025, which is from today till 5/12 is nothing but around 180 days. Why it has taken this that ID? Because I'll show you where that is. The default value, it's around 180 days, right? So I'll show you in this grc control and access control. Yep, access control, maintain configuration settings. You can see here, right? Mitigation 1011 parameter ID and the default expiration time for mitigation control assignments in days, which is 180. Because of that, it has directly taken 180. Okay. Uh, so if I click on save and run the risk analysis, it will not show you the risk. Okay, this is one way. The other, now I am not going to click, or else again I have to go and create new IDs also for this. I'm just telling you how you can mitigate a risk. So this is one way. The other way is close this. Here when you come to access management, you can see manage mitigation control assigned to users. You can click on this mitigated users and you can click on assign. This is how. Here you can set up for all systems, whether you, or else you can just for which system you have to mitigate this this risk, which for which particular risk you can create, select this and you can click on this and this system is selected. You, if you want, you can remove this. You are going to set up only for this, and the monitor, first you are going to select which for which access risk you are going to setting this up, which is that is P008, right? So for this risk ID you are going to set up, and the rule ID is not needed, and control ID. When you click on control ID, automatically it fetches which control ID is available, and monitor also it fetches directly, and valid from, see again it has taken 180 days and he is the approver. And here you can click on add and add the username. That was HP Praveen, right? So I am going to select his name here. And I'm going to click on OK. You can add as many users you can here. If think like there are 100 users and think like there are 10 or 20 users and you are going to add this, you can add all the users name here and then you can click on save. Now I am going to click on save it here, and now I'll go and check the risk violation. Data has been saved. Now I'll go for to check the risk violation user level. Again the same thing, like I'll be checking risk analysis for his ID. Okay, user group you are going to take out, and permission level, and now you are going to run in foreground. See, now you can see this, right? No violations. This is how you are going to add mitigation control ID to the user. Okay. Uh, so this is one thing. One more. Okay, one thing I wanted to share with you was like a thing like you have a lot of users, around 200 or 300 users, for which you have to mitigate a risk. So for that, what you can do is, mm, there are two programs. Me- I have it in my book, so I just wanted to check that. Okay, go for essay 38. This is GRC system, right? Okay. GRAC download. Okay, mitigation assignment. This is the one which is object type is user or anything like that. Um, and you can specify the location. Okay, and now we are going to execute desktop mitigation. Okay, I'll go and check it there. It's here only. So you got this, right? So think like there are few more users like HP Praveen with access P008. What you can do is you can give all the username. All this data will be the same. So what you can do, you can, sorry, 1 minute. So you can just execute like this, and you can give all the username here. And then what you can do, you can upload this file. So for uploading, you have one more program called GRAC upload mitigation assignment. So once you click on this, and you can click on user, and here local file destination, which you have given it, append or override, you have to click on append, which is it just adds whatever the new things which you have added. Override means it deletes everything and add the new thing which you have given. Okay. Mm, so once that is done, you can go and see there whether it is updated or not. So this is how for mass change, this is how you do the mass changes for this. So in this video, mm, this is all about this video. So let me catch you up in my next video. Until then, kindly like, share and subscribe. Kindly share it with your friends also. Thank you.